Hello, everybody, and welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
This is a comic book show where we take the books that you've read from the past week, recap them, review them, tell you what we thought about them, and then give you recommendations for books that are coming out this week we think you should pick up. Of course, we're talking about new comic book releases, those hottest of books. Those so hot, they're practically radioactive. Does anybody remember those SpaghettiOs Spider-Man commercials? That was their tagline when they made SpaghettiOs that were in shapes of the Spider-Man 90s cartoon show.
What?
They were like, so hot, it's practically radioactive. I'm like, that's not good.
I don't want that.
Yeah,
Why would I want that?
That sounds horrible. But anyway, we wanted to give you a quick reminder. This may be the last episode of Off the Rack on ComicPop. I'm a little verklempt, a little sad. Kind of sucks that we have to do this. But you know what? I'm excited for the possibilities and the future because we've created now. You know, it was funny. It reminds me of that moment in Pirates of the Caribbean, where they're talking about how cool it is to be a captain. But you know what's better than a captain? A commodore.
Oh yeah.
And so it used to be we're the captain of a ship, but now we're practically have the makings of a fleet.
Yeah.
Of channels.
That's right.
The first of which is ComicPop Returns, which is our supplemental channel, which is going to be the host for primarily podcasty stuff.
Yeah.
Off the Rack, Elseworlds Exchange. I think The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is also going to live there eventually. Letters Page. Those are the main shows.
Yes.
But we have plans for the future. I just laid those plans to rest and bloom. Planted them, I should say, so that they can blossom into something for real.
Cool.
I'm waiting for someone who's probably watching the show right now to get me the last bit of seeds I need.
It's all their fault.
And it's all their fault.
I know it is,
That's
too.
why we haven't. No, the reality is the reason why we haven't launched it is because, number one, I'm not ready to do that. Number two, we're working on this. We're working on ComicPop Returns.
Yes.
So I'm actually going to go ahead and make a video that is dedicated just for that, for this channel. I think I'm going to try to record after this, but like I just want to make a video that's just like, hey, there's another channel, go subscribe to it. But don't unsubscribe to this one.
No.
Just add it to your collection.
If you want to.
You're a collector anyway. You should want collector's items. Collectibles, like this channel.
We are a collectible.
It's true.
We are going to also at some point give everyone like a schedule.
Yes.
I know ComicPop Returns schedule has seemingly been like, what the hell is
erratic?
This? It's just because we were trying to achieve a goal in YouTube's eyes. And so like we were sort of spamming it with things, but like we also had like a little bit of a backlog because things were pulled down from the main channel. And so not to worry, I'd say maybe after this week, we'll probably have like a regular schedule of shows that you're seeing there that are live and then uploaded in a timely manner. Don't worry, this is a for now situation, but like for now, like within a week or two, it'll be fixed.
Exactly. Like I know some people were asking because we still don't have like a look for the channel.
Yeah, that's on me.
And so don't worry. It's not going to be the theme of the channel isn't unfinished.
To be fair, it's like we put it up and then like honestly, I don't think either of us expected the outpouring from everyone in the way that you were so generous. And so we were like, we've got a little time. We have no time. There's no time.
Which is like the fast-paced world of the internet,
There's
baby.
no time.
So I understand that.
So that's on me. Don't worry. It's coming. It's all coming.
Now I'm excited because I have no idea. And like this episode, because I have no idea what she read. She knows exactly what I read, which is how it is, men out there and ladies, I guess. But I'm just saying, they know is the point. They'll always know. But anyway, let's jump into some books. But before we do, of course, one more thing, one bit of house cleaning. I wanted to say the show is sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can sponsor today's episode by using Super Chats, which, when Off the Rack goes live on ComicPop Returns, it's enabled. We can do that now.
Yeah.
So
go Team ComicPop.
Yeah, that's right. Is that a Team Venture reference?
Yeah.
That's nice because it's timely, because I think they're finally going to be able to end that freaking show with a movie.
I was like literally thinking about how much like unfortunately hearing Dr. Orpheus colored my impersonation of Doctor Strange ever since that point on. Like it just like I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Forever.
Not bad.
No. But it's thinking like, yes, go Team Venture.
Yes.
Anyway.
So yeah, if you want to sponsor today's episode and make sure we don't have to like use NordVPN or whatever goddamn thing.
If they want to sponsor this.
But no, actually we did get reached out to via, we've made it, ladies and gentlemen. A VPN reached out to us for a sponsorship. I'm thinking about doing it. I don't know. I'm thinking about taking their money. Who knows? It'll be on this show. So get used to it. Brian Rowland's showing some love for the two greatest YouTube channels. You're very kind, Brian. Thank you.
Thank you.
I still consider it to be like one channel. It's like an umbrella. It's like a big umbrella, and everyone's welcome underneath it. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yay!
So yeah, let's talk about some books. I don't want to waste too much of the people's time. I read Guardians of the Galaxy number 14. I picked this up just because it had Doctor Doom on the cover, and
it's funny how much that's like an easy sell for you.
Yeah.
Often, not every time.
No,
but it is often something that you're like, okay,
Doctor Doom, what are you doing? What are you doing, Doom?
What are you doing in space there?
Yeah. But this is, of course, written by Al Ewing, and it's funny because when I read it, I wasn't sold. I'm not the world's biggest Guardians of the Galaxy fan, so it takes a lot. It would take a lot. You know, it'd have to take like Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning to do it for me. But like this is a fine story, and if you like Guardians of the Galaxy, you're probably gonna dig this. It's in the middle of a story arc, so it's not like this is the beginning by any means. But it's cute, and I remember reading it and going like, oh, that was fine. Who read this? Who wrote this? Oh, Al Ewing. Well, I guess it was better than I thought it was. Yeah, I'm glad the reconnect was successful. Thank you. This is why people use StreamYard, by the way. I was thinking about doing that, by the way. Okay. Here's an idea, and I want to actually throw this to the chat, which is suspiciously quiet, by the way. But I wanted to mention, I have this idea. If we were to stream this on StreamYard, which you wouldn't be able to tell, by the way, like because we can have like a one camera setup. Okay. What if we had like guests, not like full whole episode guests, but like, for example, Tom King, Supergirl is the pre-order is tomorrow. The final cutoff date for pre-ordering Supergirl is tomorrow. Yeah. Wouldn't it have been fun if Tom King popped in on the show and been like, "Hey losers, make sure to subscribe to new ComicPop Returns and also pre-order Supergirl." There you go. Right? That would have been kind of fun. So I'm thinking maybe we'll try that out. I'm gonna reach out. It would require some of these people to be
and some pre-planning on our part.
A lot, and we don't, as you can tell, we don't do that. So
sometimes we do.
Yeah,
I like chat is sus. It is. Yeah, always. I'm sus.
It is a little laggy, right, folks? Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm sus.
But yeah. So anyway, but with respect to Guardians, it's fine. It's fun, and it comes right off of Empire, which everyone loves. Doom wants the sword that Teddy wields. Oh. And he's going to take it by any means necessary, including old powers that people forget Dr. Doom has. Like, if he looks into your eyes, he could jump into your body and swap places with you. It's an old sorcerer's trick. Yeah, something he does. And
I feel like that's so not in his wheelhouse because, like, there's nothing greater than Doom to Doom.
Yeah, but
so why would he want to do that?
It's his mind, though.
Like, but that's gross.
That's what
I'm in someone's body. That's gross.
Yeah.
You're gross.
Yeah, well,
Everyone's lesser than me.
Yeah, well, Moondragon dumps his body into Rocket Raccoon. So Rocket's like, this is dope. I'm liking this. And Doom's like, what is this insolence? And that's like, ah, ha, ha, ha. So, that was fun. Anyway, Guardians
I thought you were telling me he was in Moondragon. He's like,
all right. And Drax is like, no!
Doom, you're super inappropriate.
Yeah. No, it's not that crass, but it is cute.
Good.
So check that out, I guess. I don't know. It's a soft recommend.
Okay.
Adam says, have you been reading The Spider's Shadow? Kind of a what if Peter Parker became Venom, which I swear we've seen, but this is a bit of a darker take so far. Adam, thank you very much for your support, by the way.
Yeah,
incredibly
dude,
generous
thank
super
you.
chat. But I should also, I got to ding you. Chip Zdarsky, the writer of Spider's Shadow, we're on issue 2 now. He was on this very channel. We did a whole episode of Elseworlds Exchange where we talk about his formation of that series. And in fact, his desire to reinvigorate the What If brand. So, yes, I did know that. And in fact, I got a chance to get a PDF of that first issue at least 2 weeks before everybody else.
You did.
Just so I could talk about it intelligently with him.
I will tell you this, too. I didn't get to read it until the day before the show.
Yeah. Well, I didn't. It's Marvel. They know. Like you, they know.
They'll know.
They'll know if I share that PDF. I'm not risking. You got to sit on my PC and use it there. And then I deleted it. I shift deleted, and so it was gone forever. Just to make sure.
Wow.
But check out that episode, by the way. It's still timeless.
You're being serious with this.
Yeah. No, I don't mess around. That's the first time Marvel's ever sent me anything.
Aw, and you deleted it.
I didn't really. Don't tell them. But it was the first time the Marvel's ever been like, you're at least legitimate enough to get a free PDF.
Yay.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Marvel was like, wow, I'm willing to risk $5 on you.
Yeah.
Which I appreciate. So, but check out that episode, by the way, because Chip's great, despite him completely torching my tweet joke that I made.
You were wrecked.
It was such a terrible joke.
You were wrecked.
It's 2:00 in the morning. I was reading Zdarsky's newsletter, and the whole thing just feeds into itself. And he's like, he's funny. So the whole thing is like tailored to be funny, but also informative. And it just goes on and on. So you never you don't know where it stops. Where the first one ends and the next one begins. So it's just this concentric circle of jokes, and Zdarsky's it just seems like it's this stream of consciousness that's never stopping.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ah. And so by the third or fourth scroll, I was just like losing it. So I made this joke on Twitter where I'm like,
I know.
It was like a stream of consciousness. I was just so inspired by it. I wrote this is what Zdarsky's newsletter is like, and it feels like I'm becoming Zdarsky, and now I am him. And Zdarsky's response was just, yeah. All lowercase, just so funny, and that is way funnier than what I did. But it wouldn't have existed without what I did. You see, so it's like a layup. It's like a comedy layup. See, we're a new comedy duo, he and I. No, but he set me up for I set him up for a hilarious. It's so stupid, and he was just like, yeah. It was horribly embarrassing. But yeah,
you were destroyed.
I was wrecked.
Yes,
with a K.
Yeah. There
is still a K in wrecked, but there's only one. That's the only hard
with
sound.
a T.
Yeah, with a T. Thank you.
Just like now.
Yeah, just like now. I also read Heroes Reborn, Peter Parker, the Amazing Shutterbug #1 from the Heroes Reborn tie-ins. Only Heroes Reborn tie-in I'll ever read.
I did not even bother to check this out because I assume it's just them being like, what if Peter Parker were like Jimmy Olsen?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's written by Mark Bernardin with art by Rafael De La Torre. By the way, if you were like, what? Mark Bernardin? That sounds familiar. That's because he's 50% of Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah, I was kind of like that, actually.
Yeah, and I was like, Mark Bernardin? Good for you, Mark Bernardin. If you want to come on the show, Mark Bernardin, you're welcome to. But no, for real.
I think you have to stop saying Mark Bernardin.
Mark Bernardin?
He's not like the Candyman.
Yeah. He's the comics Candyman. You say his name 5 times, he appears. Oh, we're getting a call. It's Mark Bernardin. Anyway, amazing. Peter, this is stupid. Who gives a shit? It's well written.
Okay.
And it's funny because if you read Heroes Reborn #2, which we will talk about later, there is actually a sequence in this that is 1-to-1, but the theme, the tone is 100% different. Aaron is like, fuck Peter Parker, he's Jimmy Olsen, her. And Bernardin's like, no. Hyperion shows up and he's Superman. He's like, you're welcome, I'm friggin' Hyperion.
Right.
And Jason Aaron's like, Peter goes, yeah. And then in this, Peter's like, yeah, what an asshole. It's just really funny. It also caught me. There was a moment, because this is one of these tie-ins, so you could throw this away. But great moment. Because of course he doesn't become Peter Parker,
right?
In this reality,
no.
Because the Avengers weren't formed.
He's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He doesn't become Spider-Man.
I'm sorry, Spider-Man. What did I say?
Peter Parker.
Oh, he doesn't become the true Peter Parker. He's like some lame Jimmy Olsen version. Anyway, because the Avengers weren't formed, you see, Flash Thompson pushes Peter a little harder than he normally does. It's so flimsy. The idea that Spider-Man would never become Spider-Man if not for the Avengers. So stupid. Oh. Especially because he predates the Avengers by at least 2 years. So anyway. Uncle Ben doesn't die.
Okay.
And Aunt May goes shopping, and there's a terrorist attack or something, and she dies.
We've seen that before in a What If, where it was instead it's Peter and his uncle.
Yeah. Right, but Peter was supposed to meet her.
Oh.
So he feels responsible for Aunt May's death.
Sure.
And so he becomes an idiot. By the way, Bernardin also throws in a reference to Seward Trainor's daughter, Carolyn, who becomes the Doc Ock of the 90s.
Oh.
And she's a classmate of Peter's for a minute. For a hot second, I'm like, Carolyn Trainor, I know who that is. Ha-ha!
So who is Jonah angry with in this universe? He's got no Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Is he just on edge all the time?
Yeah, constant. He's a coiled spring.
He doesn't have an outlet.
No, that's
Spider-Man's
true.
his outlet.
Right. He should have just died of a heart attack. In any case, it doesn't matter. It's just, but the best moment was actually Aunt May dying and Peter being and I was like, gotcha. That was awesome. Nice stuff. The rest of it, who cares? It's just like, and by the way, if you're looking for like a little like bubble story, you know, like, oh, look at that. Like, then this is the book for you. If you're looking for like an essential piece of the Heroes Reborn saga, who cares?
Okay.
Don't bother. Don't
Fair.
waste your time. But it's cute, and I read it.
I just thought this was really sweet.
Good afternoon to you too.
Tristan's parents are celebrating their 16th anniversary, and I thought that was really sweet.
Yeah, congratulations to your parents.
I think that's really nice.
I think so too. I agree with you. Jeez.
I think it's nice.
Yeah.
You better think it's nice too.
I do. Trust me. Anyway, so Peter Parker, the Amazing Shutterbug, whatever. It's fine. I also read Batman Urban Legends. It's also cute. Not cute. It's good.
Okay.
It's just good. I'm not gonna bother with the story. It's pretty good, and it plays with the like Bruce Jason relationship like so many people try to do. This does a nice job.
Okay.
You know, it's just.
I kind of dig the cover, even though I know it's Romita.
It's Romita, yeah.
And like honestly, I don't necessarily. I wish it was a different iteration of Batman drawn by a different artist. I just really like the layout. Like, there's just something really cool about like him being highlighted by like the oranges and like red color palette, because you know we tend to think of Batman in that blue, dark
blue
behind him, that whole thing, like brooding, rain, whatever. Even though like yellow is a big part of his costume, I'm like, this is very striking.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's just, you know, it's not bad for Romita.
Yeah,
lately. That's pretty good.
No, I think a lot of the heavy lifting is done by Alejandro Sanchez, who is credited as the other person on the cover. We can tell who Klaus Janson is and what he did. He did the inks, obviously. So,
I think he was helped out by Klaus.
Klaus? Yeah, well,
because Klaus could go in there and like really...
Klaus is he's been around forever.
He's been around forever, and he understands a lot of the older artist pencils, and so he's able to, I think, in my mind's eye, like pick out the parts that make it shine and kind of tone down some of the other pieces.
I completely agree. There's also a Grifter story in here because, of course, there is. Because, like, for whatever reason, Grifter's super important. He makes references to the Wildstorm universe. Who knows if that's real or not, or if that's just for fun. There's also a Sal in this book, and I think that's really cool. He doesn't look like me, so I doubt it's it's not like it's a reference to me, but like.
But hey, now you have like is it a good guy?
He is thought to be a bad guy. And it turns out like he went straight.
Oh, okay.
So
yay,
but he was a bad guy.
But still, hey, that means that Sals can change. And that's
right.
Nice,
Sals can change.
Sals are usually portrayed as like
Sals can never be Batman.
Yeah, they're on the bad guy.
Sals are always Sal Maroni, Sal the like garbage man from Futurama. There's just all Sals are like fat idiots, which most of our commenters wouldn't disagree with. I
just hit this as hard as I could.
I know.
So I hope you all enjoyed that.
I can't wait to hear it on the replay. And Will.i.am Golden, sup guys, can't stay long, just wanted to say no matter how bad this version of Heroes Reborn is, the first is still worst, and it's the worst thing Marvel ever did. I think One More Day will has a slight lead in that category, but Heroes Reborn, Heroes Return is kind of fun, but and without it, you don't get the Thunderbolts. So like, I don't see anything cool coming out of Heroes Reborn 2, but Heroes Reborn 1 at least gave us.
Yeah, but we still had to look at
Liefeld's Captain America, which is a hilarious meme now.
Great. Worth it.
Right?
No.
Yeah, it's worth like dozens of Captain America issues that you like that make your eyes bleed when you look at it. Anyway, so yeah, that's a Heroes Reborn tie-in. That's the only one I read, by the way.
Okay.
What about you? What are some books that you read this week? Because I've got like 2 more.
Oh, I've got obviously I have all the X titles. I just want to point out we picked up this.
Yes, the Festival of Heroes.
From DC, the Asian Superhero Celebration. It was a 100-page issue. I haven't gotten through all of them, but the ones I've read, obviously, I started with like Ram V and Dustin Nguyen is in here as well. Nguyen. And honestly, I enjoyed the stories. They're varying lengths. Like his is a very brief one. And
he's got no time. He's just like, I got so many things to write.
Well, I mean, like, no, not Ram. Dustin's is like a couple pages.
Oh, that's too bad.
It was really sweet. It's very sweet.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
It's actually called What's in the Box, and I thought that was hilarious.
Yay.
So I was like, I'm reading the one called What's in the Box.
Naturally.
And it looks great.
Yep, it does.
By the way, What's in the Box is Bao.
Oh, cool.
Or what I think is Bao, possibly some sort of steamed bun of some kind.
Sounds good to me.
But it covers a whole bunch of a whole slew of heroes from throughout the DC universe. And as a bonus, not only do you get like a lot of great stories told from different perspectives, but also you get a lot of fantastic looking art, not only in the comics but in like pinups and such.
Yeah.
I mean, just such great stuff. And also in the back, which I thought was super great, and I honestly loved this. There's just a couple of pages of bios for the characters, and so like if there's a character maybe you're a little less like familiar with, you can get a little bit of info about them.
Oh, it's got that new comic smell.
It does.
I do miss that when we're doing digital.
I know it does, and I really really appreciaed that, because there certainly were like some like characters where I was like, oh, I'm not certain who they are, or like I'm not certain what iteration this is, kind of thing.
Right. This
really helped me like fill it in. Like, remember that Cheshire Cat character?
Vaguely.
Yeah, I'm not reading Catwoman right now, although you can apparently catch more. That's what Ram V wrote about, because I believe he's writing Catwoman right now.
Yes.
But like Cheshire is the like daughter of Arsenal and Cheshire.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, that's the kind of thing. I was like, oh, it's just a brief little bio in here. And I thought that was like just a nice touch. We've seen a lot of these like kind of like combo books, but there's not always that info in the back. So I was like, that was smart. That was really really smart, because maybe there's a character in here you're like, oh, that was kind of interesting.
Boy, they should do that with all books.
Yeah, no, for sure. So honestly, I'm looking forward to going back through this. Like, just some really spectacular looking art and some great story.
Cassie looks great.
Yeah, this is a Tamaki and Marcus Toe combo.
That's a great combo.
Yeah, it is a great combo. It's just really enjoy this. Really nice. Again, this is a $10 purchase though, but you are getting quite a few stories in here, and like obviously you're going to get quite a few kind of Bat Family tied in things as well. So might be worth it for you to go check it out if you haven't already. There we go.
Nice. Michael Dancy II says, first-time Super Chat, long-time fan. Well, thank you very much, and thanks for your support, Mike.
Thank you.
Want to know if you've ever seen the 90s Berserk anime or Baki the Grappler? If not, I would love to send it to you all. Also, Sal, have you enjoyed any manga that's not horror?
I don't know if you've ever enjoyed the manga that is horror that I give you.
This is true. I appreciate it. I recognize its goodness.
I think I've seen a little bit of Berserk, and we have the entire collection thanks to a very
we have like two massive. I
think it's 3.
Is there only 3?
I think. Well, no. I'm just saying. I think we have 3 of them. A very generous fan gave us like the big hardbound volumes of Berserk, so we were taken care of on that front.
Absolutely.
But yeah, in terms of manga that you
have read and enjoyed, not really.
Fair enough.
I don't normally read a lot of manga, so
no,
like,
I was trying to think
anything.
of anything I've ever given you in terms of reading,
Not
and
really.
it's like only for.
Yeah, I will say that I did read the Amigara Fault story probably like several years ago because it was on the internet.
It was on the internet, yeah.
And I saw that, and it scared the shit out of me. And I didn't know you were reading Ito at the time, so
yeah,
I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
But like even then, it was like.
Because it's just he gets like.
He gets
that horror's subjective, and that like it takes all different types of horror to get to someone.
This is true. Jam Call X, Doom can body swapping like Captain Genu? More like Captain Genu can do it like Doom.
This is, by the way, you've seen this individual before. I guaranteed, even if you don't know who they are.
Yeah, I know who that is. Okay. Yeah, I've seen them before.
Yes.
Usually screaming.
Yeah.
Just some guy with a mustache. Catch you on the VOD. Love and peace. Marvel. How do we show a character is super powerful? Galactus. Oh boy, here I go dying again. Yep, that's Marvel for you. Let's kill Galactus. Lol. Even though it wouldn't work that way. But yeah, I hear you. I also read Giant Size Amazing Spider-Man #1 from Nick Spencer. If you didn't, you will not understand what's happening in the next Spider-Man book because they used this as a way to finish the story arc, which is so stupid.
Is this... Wait. Is it not? It's a number. Oh.
Yeah, no, it's Giant
like
Size
annual?
Amazing Spider-Man #1. It's like an annual, but
they don't want to call it an annual.
Not. Don't call it an annual.
Oh, that's gonna make it fun for people. Collecting the run.
Right, but they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about the trade. If you're ever thinking like, man, they don't care about the trade, look at this. By the way, they also had Bagley doing all the covers, and some of them are like good. Some of them aren't. I like this one.
Is Kingpin using magic?
He is in the cover, but not in reality.
Okay, good.
He does later. So yeah, this is also drawn by Roger Antonio with Carlos Gomez and Zay Carlos. Again, if you want the wrap up to this, you're going to need to read this. New Avengers team up, the conclusion of Boomerang, Spencer doing some house cleaning and resurrecting an old villain. So there's some stuff going on in here.
It is giant sized.
It is giant sized.
It is quite long.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other stories in here. There's like a little tease They're like, you're not reading Catwoman, but here's or Black Cat, but here's a Black Cat story for you. It's like 3 pages. The art is questionable, but I'm sure the series is good.
In the Festival of Heroes book, in the Ram V Catwoman story,
Yeah.
Cheshire Cat like bursts in because obviously she's training with Selena to like stop some criminals from doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
They initially think it's Catwoman, and one of them calls her Cat Lady, and like
That's a different connotation.
yeah, the guy next to him's like, it's woman, it's Catwoman.
It's like Cat Lady.
Yeah.
Just throwing cats at
No,
them.
come see my cats.
Yeah. They all have very distinct names.
Maybe when you said that,
That's
maybe
great.
think about it.
Therio, God of Rage, can't spare much right now, but hope you're doing well. Rage on, friends. You too,
Thank
Therio.
you
Thank
so
you very much. Also, I read Legends of the Dark Knight number 7.
Okay.
This one is the beginning of a new arc.
Yeah. How is it?
It is way better than the last one.
Who's it written by?
This one is actually written by Stephanie Phillips
Oh.
with art by Max Dunbar.
Why do I know Stephanie Phillips?
Because she's done stuff that you've read before.
I guess so.
It's a digital first series, but I noticed that I think this week, Legends of the Dark Knight number 1 from, is it Nick Dragotta? Is going to be on newsstands. So you can pick up that series I told you is not very good. And you can check out.
Oops.
But this is pretty good. Introduces a new villain, but like, kinda. It's a Penguin story, and I'm guessing it'll be 6 issues. Again, it's just like classic true to form, made for the trade kind of Batman story. I enjoyed it, and if you're jonesing for classic Batman, you can't miss this one because it's like a lot of fun.
I really dig that cover.
It's fun, yeah. It's embracing the format because it's like, hey,
Yeah.
it's gonna be wider. Also, Alfred's alive and stuff.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, it's a classic Batman
Yeah,
story.
no, I'm just like, but ooh.
Yeah, it's not stupid.
What?
Like it is now. But yeah, so I recommend that too.
Okay.
I also picked up Star Wars, but I didn't read it yet. I also
Okay.
didn't read Joker because I'm an idiot.
Oh, I did.
Nice.
Where do you want to go next then? I got like 3 different X titles to get
Yeah,
through
do
here.
the X-Men.
X Factor came out, written by Leah Williams with art by, zooming in, David Baldinian.
Oh.
This is wrapping up the like Siren story with the Morrigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna wrap that up. The important thing to take away from this is at the end of this, it does say that the last issue of X Factor will be at the Hellfire Gala. I know people were saying it was canceled. That to me says like we're done with this
Yep.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Leah Williams is going on to another X title anyway.
Makes sense.
So I
Whether it's canceled or not is still remains to be seen. Probably
Yeah.
on hiatus. Maybe they're like moving it out of the way because they are launching at least 2 other X-Men books afterwards.
yeah, it also like kind of like sums up some of the stuff from like the Mojoverse as well.
Yay, you love that place.
Oh yeah, he's in it for like a hot second. It's everything I never wanted to
Mhm.
see.
Naturally.
But like essentially like freeing Mojoverse from Mojo's grip. They're gonna like leave one of the mutants in charge. Like, why? I don't know why. He looks like the worst version of the Grinch I've ever seen. I hate it.
Yeah, he's Fat Grinch.
I will say like for me, like I love the Morrigan stuff, of course, because it makes me think of like Wicked and Divine. My brain was like Once and Divine. I'll just take Once and Future, combine it with that book. It's fine.
Gillen's like, me too.
He's like, why not?
Mm-hmm.
So I dig all of that stuff. There's some really great visuals in terms of like Siren and the Morrigan. Shatterstar is involved.
Oh, great.
Quite a bit. We get some like interesting like old timey storytelling stuff.
Cool.
And like we're gonna find out like what went into Shatterstar at the end of this. Like what part of like the Morrigan's like essence went into him that will be revealed at the Hellfire Gala. Like oh crap. In this, Dazzler is in this, and so like
With her dazzle powers.
No, she goes to Mojo versus like part of like the plan, like so she's doing like a concert or what have you.
Okay.
And unless I guess I'm not sure if they're in Mojoverse or not, but like this is one of those things where like for me, if she's not in the Mojoverse, it totally works with the Children of the Atom because remember they were going to a Dazzler concert.
Yeah.
But if not, then
Then
look, like the X-Men books are kind of fluid right now in terms of like what certain characters are doing, but they tend to reference each other a little bit here and there. But again, because of Children of the Atom's like time frame and his original time frame versus what it ended up having, it always makes me question, if their book will actually cross over with anything that's truly happening.
Right, if their book is like relevant.
Yeah, and I don't mean like relevant because like every book
No, I'm talking about it.
Yeah, no,
the way
I know,
that-
but like I want to put it out there that like every book can be relevant because it's telling a story.
it matters to you,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that story is, you know, an individual's like telling of this tale, and like that makes it relevant. However, if you're thinking about in terms of like the grand storytelling that is going on within the X-Men heading towards the Hellfire Gala, meaning that like some big change is meant to happen, and we obviously know a little bit of what happens at the end of the Hellfire Gala. It's just how do we get there? You know, it's like, why would I get that necessarily?
Right.
But we're talking about X Factor. So we can feel this wrapping up right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens afterwards. We'll see if this title returns or if they're going to put this one on hiatus for the time being as like some newer titles are coming in.
Yeah. I'd love to see the numbers. I want to know what X books are selling the best versus, not. I mean, we know Fallen Angels did not sell well, just based on how quickly it was canceled.
Well, yeah, and I do think that one actually did. It was a mini.
It became one.
I think it was originally.
Was it always billed as one?
I thought it was.
I never heard one way or the other.
I don't know why. Like I went into that thinking it was,
Marvel's-
and then like they spun her out anyway, right into Hellions.
Yes, Marvel's like monthly plan is usually make it an ongoing until it isn't, and then say it was always a mini.
Right. And maybe like that's what it is. Maybe I'm like tricking my brain into thinking that.
Well, it certainly became a mini, so I wouldn't begrudge you that expectation.
Speaking of X-Men, Children of the Atom #3 came out this week as well, written by Vita Ayala with art by Paco Medina.
I know Paco Medina.
Bernard Chang was off for this. I'm not sure if he's off
forever or not.
I know he was working on this.
Yes.
Because he has not only a pinup in here, but there's also like a small story that he illustrated as well. Not small. There's a story in here that he illustrated.
Right. How'd it go?
It looks great. No, it like legitimately does look great. Like it's super fun and like sprawling and like it's just fun.
Oh yeah, that is fun.
Yeah. But so I don't know if that was like a need a break to do that or like I'm gonna transition off of this book for now.
Yeah. But Paco Medina, good artist as well.
Yeah. At least that's what I had read.
Yes.
So I don't know. Issue 3, I was like, all right. So obviously I've read issue 1 and 2, and I've questioned the entire time, like, what are we doing with this? Like both issues ended very similarly. They try to go through the gate, they can't get through it, right?
Yep.
So I was like, what are we doing here? It feels like we're kind of spinning our wheels while we're establishing these like young heroes, dealing with human society,
yes,
and like the questioning of like why they can't go there and trying to hide it also simultaneously from mutant kind. Issue 3 felt like what issue 2 should have been and hooked me way more by the end. I was like, oh, I feel like you may have wanted to lead with this. Like the idea of them not being able to get the island, that was cool and creepy and like what's going on, but like there was just so much more development and like seemingly pointing out like our main protagonist a little bit more, so like really keying in like it's a team book, but like we're gonna focus on this individual for right now, and like something's going on. What's going on? Like in the last issue, we did introduce like a former student friend of theirs who's back in the picture, and like, oh, what's going on with him? He was really sick, and now he's not. And like, is it okay? And like, so we meet like some potential antagonist for the Children of the Atom.
Yeah.
And we also like unveil that like at one point these guys went into space, and like we get like little like snippets of how that all went down and how they kind of almost died, but then everything turned out totally fine.
Oh.
And one of our main characters, like who had not been feeling so well, ends up almost seemingly like going through like a change, which I thought was interesting because in it they talk about the fact that like, you know, maybe their friend, like this person who came back, is a mutant. Like maybe we should find that out because it's like, oh, he was sick, and like a lot of times like humans or people get, or like their X gene activates, they seemingly are sick and then not.
Right.
And they're like, maybe that's what it was, but then she gets sick instead. And I'm like, wait, are we doing a thing here where maybe she's actually activating her mutant ability and it wasn't the other thing that I don't know. I don't know what they're driving at here. But there's like, you know, some like science going on. There's like a potential organization that like seemingly is good-willed, but obviously not. Like there's some sort of sinister element to it here. But this issue hooked me way more than the others did. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because like the hook was different this time as opposed to like we can't get through the gate. I'm like, I know you can't get through the gate. I got that.
Right. Also, another more high-profile character couldn't get through the gate. Like we've seen that before.
Yeah. So this time around, though, I'm like, all right, issue 4.
I'm on board.
I'm gonna check it out.
So if you were kind of like on the fence with issue 2, maybe check out issue 3, and that should be your tipping point.
Yeah, I think that like if issue 3 seems to be kind of more where this is going, where they're like, yeah, they mentioned the whole they can't get through the gate because they're also thinking part of them was like, well, if their their friend actually is a mutant, maybe he can get them through the gate.
Right.
So they're dealing with that, but this other element, I was like, yeah, okay, what is happening?
Right. Jack O'Connell, I still don't understand why Marvel hates Peter Parker. That he is their most popular character, but they treat him with no respect. I mean, like, that's a really, like, it's like them saying that, like, they hate Matt Murdock. I think Bendis was the one. I don't remember if it was or not, but so I'll just attribute it to Bendis and be wrong later. But, like, it said, you're not here, you're not reading these comics to watch these characters have a good time. Conflict is the essence of the story, and you would drop the book if it was just like Matt Murdock has a great day, he needs a ham sandwich. Like, no one would be interested in that. And Peter Parker, like, the fact that they constantly show you him, and the fact that he doesn't die at the end of every story means that they do care about him. They care about him so much they're trying to get him to be more interesting and have his adventures hook you to buy his books.
I would read a single issue written by Chip Zdarsky about Matt Murdock making a ham sandwich and enjoying it.
And just enjoying it?
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah, are you kidding me?
Just one issue.
Right.
Don't push it.
As long as it's drawn by Chichetto, I don't care. But I don't think they hate him. I think it's more just like they don't feel precious like you do. And that's like the difference between like them and fans. Fans want the characters they imprint upon and want like to see succeed. I think it's why people love Big Time but hate everything else. And it's because like finally Peter Parker's succeeding, and I think a lot of people do also identify with Peter Parker, so for them they're like, Peter Parker succeeding means I'm succeeding.
Right.
And so like that's why it feels that way. Victor Vendetta, hello, goodbye, so long. Thank you very much for hanging out with us, Victor.
You say hello,
and
you say goodbye, and I say hello. There we go.
Yeah.
I did it backwards. That way we weren't copyright stricken.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But then we
That's
fixed
parody.
it. So yeah.
Everett Johnson, hey Soundtivity, got to say I was blown away when I finally learned of your channel. Well, thank you, Everett. And thank you for your support, by the way.
Thank you.
Great quality, and thanks for your input. I opened myself up to indie books I'd never give the time of day to. Thank you.
Yay! I want to get back more into indie books and having some recommends here and there. But with the increasing amount of X books and the book that I'm working towards getting to for back issues, I've kind of run out of time.
Yeah. But you'll get back.
I will get back.
There's so much.
We'll be back.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, there's only a couple standouts anyway.
Well, but it's always good to like investigate and check them out.
Should always investigate. Yeah. Like, we haven't read Geiger at all.
No.
And I hear it's good. I couldn't get a copy of issue 1 because it was like sold out immediately.
I will say, I definitely I when we saw that for the first time, like I was like, oh, cool.
I don't have time for
I thought it was a different Geiger.
HR?
Yeah. So I was like, oh, I mean, I get it. It's like a counter.
Yeah, a Geiger counter.
not weird, creepy alien, phallic imagery.
Yeah. Brian the Baller, what makes a good cover? Yeah.
I think that's a completely
subjective.
Point.
I think there's a math to it, though.
There's always a math. I mean, like you can go by the golden ratio and like lay a cover out like flawlessly through utilizing that tool if you wanted to. I think there's something to be said about taking an artist, using their strengths and trying to match the tone of the book, because there's something about a cover that like captures either the essence of the story or the essence of a character, and may not even have to be in like a truly straightforward manner. It doesn't have to be Superman like doing this, although that could be a great cover. There are ways in which you can like show who a character is without something so on the nose.
Yeah, Jorge Jimenez did a cover for Superman, speaking of using that analogy. And he's very proud of it, and he should be. But I've seen him post about it a lot, where he's like, either they told him or he wanted to challenge himself, but he was doing a Superman cover with no Superman on it. And so he did an image from his perspective of the crowd looking up, and his shadow is cast over them. And that is, but like Superman is all over that cover, you know? So for me, it's like, it's being imaginative, but also really leaning into your strengths. Like a great cover artist is not necessarily a great interior artist.
Oh no, that very rarely ever. I mean, that can cross over, but like a good cover artist, I mean, they'll often be like, I don't do interiors,
Right.
because like drawing the same character over and over again is not what their strength is, and they don't necessarily understand the layout of a panel and what makes those successful.
Exactly.
Because with the panel layout, you're really trying to like lead the eye. Now you are trying to lead the eye, of course, with a cover, because it's like you kind of want to keep someone within the cover without leading them out, because you want to keep them there.
Exactly. Like YouTube video.
Yeah, like in a constant loop, you're never leaving. In terms of like art style, that's totally up to you what works for you.
Sure.
Like sometimes I like, super illustrative, sometimes I like hyper detailed, sometimes I like something that's very, very like minimal.
Yeah.
Almost. I think it's also important for the cover artist and / graphic designer to make a decision about whether or not the typography is going to be the important bit or the art's going to be the important bit.
Yeah.
One should lead over the other slightly.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
That's
so
fair.
You got to make a choice there.
Like X-Corp, for example,
Yeah.
has a really strong cover.
It's a cool cover.
It's a cool cover. I've heard some really divisive things about this book. Do you want to talk about it?
Okay, let's talk about X-Corp. Did you read it?
No.
Okay. This is written by Teenie Howard with art by Alberto
Foce?
Foce.
Foch?
So this is a book.
Oh no.
This is a book that I have to ask myself, like, who
Is it for?
who thought that this was like, this is an element of the X-Men we're missing right now. I'm not saying it's good or bad by saying that, by the way. I'm
Right.
literally just questioning
Where it came from.
where it came from, because obviously there's an element to the X-Men since the like birth of Krakoa, since the dawn of X, since the House of X, where it's like they have these flowers, they're creating pharmaceuticals with it, and they're distributing it to the world. Now we know part of that is going through the black market, through
the Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
There's also Xavier's like many different holdings and corporations.
Exactly. And so X-Corp is kind of one of those. X-Corp is a company that will be launched, although by the end of this it technically is launched into the public eye, which is going to be a pharmaceutical rep for them, essentially. Like he bought a whole bunch of pharmaceutical companies and like utilized those facilities and such in order to get these out. But now X-Corp's going to be in charge of that.
Okay.
Run by Monet and
Warren Worthington III.
Exactly.
I remember that was a really like fun moment for him when he was like, "Why haven't you thought of anything for me?" And he's like, "Aha, I have a very important job for you, Warren.
Yeah.
It's leaving you out of pretty much every book."
What? No,
except for this one.
That's not true. He was part of Ten of Swords very briefly.
That's
for like one.
Yeah, no, he's in them, but he isn't doing anything in them.
He went with Apocalypse.
Yes.
When they went through the external.
Yeah,
hit.
and then what? To what end?
Well, then they had to come back because they got their asses kicked.
Right. Okay. So he was. Yeah. Did he carry Apocalypse? Like, was he a car or something?
Well,
or?
he helped.
Uh-huh.
Everybody helped. Apocalypse is a big guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't done anything since the last time we saw him do that. But anyway, so yeah, well, all right.
That's what this is. Like they're built like, okay, so it's like they're going to launch this company. There's like one of the guys that Xavier bought pharmaceutical company from is like, I want more money because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn like all of this information I have over about you guys building or growing things in the Savage Land over to like the United Nations, because they're going to be like, that's not a good idea. What are you doing to the indigenous people of
what do you
like,
care?
The Savage
like
Land?
Khazar?
Well, because he wants more money.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I'm not happy with the price anymore. I want more.
Uh-huh. You know, I haven't seen anyone in any non-X book use these things. Literally
these
no other Marvel book
I know
has taken this thing that Xavier's making trillions of dollars off of.
Right. Well, the humans are doing it, like the regular people.
Yeah. Well, I hope they're enjoying it because literally no one is showing that.
Well,
it has such a little effect on the Marvel Universe. They rebooted the Marvel Universe and like the X-Men are in space or whatever. Who cares?
well,
Or at least some of them are.
some of them are, but not all of them.
No. Please. Yes.
So he's dealing with that. Monet goes to the Savage Land facility, not knowing that it's going to be such a key component because she's okay. This is where I get why this is divisive, because it's like what I'm about to say is the least super heroic thing I could think of in a book about people wearing spandex who have wings and crazy powers.
Yeah.
She is building her board of trustees.
Oh. Are they mutants?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're another team. But it's a board of trustees.
Yep.
Do they know anything about business?
Well, she's getting Jamie
Madrox. Okay.
Because he's running the facility all
Is
on his
he
own.
the board of trustees?
No, he's gonna be one of the members. Trinary is gonna be another one.
Okay.
They need essentially Professor X suggests 5. He's all about that number right now.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Or
10.
It's been good for him.
That's true.
5 has been good to him. So that's it. That's what they're doing. And then Monet freaks out because Trinary finds that there's some sort of malware that's been trying desperately to get into the X-Corp's computer mainframe, because what it's doing is it's going to attack their system until it gets X amount of dollars. So clearly it's this guy who's doing it. And then that guy decides that as part of his plan, he's like, you're going to give me the money. And they're like, yeah, or what? And then he's like, well, actually I'm going to attack the Savage Land facility. And he's like, I already did. I blew it up.
Oh,
so
no.
all the Madrox clones die. And Monet's like, who cares?
Right.
And he's like, Jamie's like, they're not disposable.
Yeah, they know, they have experiences.
Well, he's really upset about that too. He's like, I haven't absorbed them in a week. And so they have a week's worth of knowledge, and that's indispensable in terms of our research.
Right. So I should go out there and get them?
Well, no, they're dead.
Well, does he know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's mad at her. And
All
she's
right.
like, but they're just, who cares?
Right.
They're assets.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm like, that's very Monet. That's very her. She's thinking about business. She isn't
Right. And that's what this book's all about.
That is what this book is all about. They also have a big floating base island thing that is X-Corp itself.
Okay.
And so because the facility at the Savage Land exploded, this guy's they're going to be focused on that now.
Yes.
And so now you're not gonna be able to get away with doing whatever you want, because now you've had a disaster.
Right. You gotta account for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna be oh, it was a bad idea to have this. I guess you should just give me my money. And
it sounds really boring.
What? It wasn't
sounds like another mini-series from X-Men.
If you listen, if you're not kind of
into business
or the more techie pharmaceutically parts about The Fugitive.
If you were really enthralled by Devlin McGregor and how they got Provasic through, and less intrigued in what's it called? Richard Kimball's human experience of being on the run.
Yeah, then
Then this is the book for you. This is the 5-issue miniseries for you.
So I mean, and the book opens with
a big bombastic thing,
doing a intro video, a welcome video, check it out.
Oh, you picked up an X-Men book. Well,
this is what X-Corp does.
Mm-hmm. It bores the shit out of you.
Well, they're doing it more to launch the company, because they've got this is the 10-step plan of how we're going to launch this company.
Oh, 10 steps.
Yeah, no, it wasn't 10. I pulled that number because obviously
X's,
for reasons. Monet's we should just launch. So then she has the excuse or the availability to do that by driving the X-Corp floating island building to save Warren. Reveals X-Corp's a thing.
Oh.
And so it overshadows anything that happened in the Savage Land.
Okay.
Because the news is
hey, floating place,
cool.
like a helicarrier. Cool.
I'm not sure
who this is for.
Who this is for and how this will all fit in.
Right. Teenie Howard, right?
Yeah.
She wrote Excalibur.
Yeah.
Which set up Ten of Swords and was integral.
Right. Now, it could be that, it's not, and that's, trying to, smoke and mirror us, because it could be that Hickman's no, someone else is going to take a turn for something that's really super important. And I can't remember if there's an X Factor or an X Force book that's coming out that's going to be vital to understanding an element of the Hellfire Gala.
Okay.
And I think it's actually coming out during the Hellfire Gala, so it's you probably won't miss it, but it'll be vital to understanding kind of what happens at the end of it and the thing about Magneto.
Right.
So I'm maybe this isn't quite as integral as Howard's last book was, and that it's just kind of
this is hey, let's explore this.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm going to continue to read it because I'm basically reading all of the X books, but I was reading this and I'm I'm kind of I'm enjoying it in terms of I don't mind the world building, but I also am surprised
But I
that
also spent like $5 on it.
there was that element. That was a kind of a big element for me there.
Yeah, like this should be like a free thing that comes with like if you buy 3 X books, you get X-Corp for free.
Maybe I don't know.
It's like getting a map with a game.
And I gotta tell you, the art was like frustrating because I both enjoyed it and didn't enjoy it. Like there were moments that I was like, "Oh, this is really cool looking," and then there were moments where I'm like, "What?"
Maybe the artist is also equally frustrated. They're like, "Are they gonna punch someone?"
somebody? I don't know. This is a sort of frustrating book, and like it's the first time. I mean, like, listen, I didn't really enjoy Fallen Angels. I know a lot of people didn't. We've brought that up a lot.
That was their first thing.
I'm not trying to like beat the dead horse there. And like I'm not a huge X Factor fan either, honestly. This is the first book that I'm like, oh no,
right,
and I don't know why. I don't know.
I think maybe because it might be like building towards a bridge too far.
Well,
like,
that's what it feels like. It feels like it's like, oh, you thought people just wanted to read
all about this
pharmaceuticals. I mean, who knows? This could be one of those things where it's like, oh no, this became required reading.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh well, that's too bad. Alex Cash just wanted to say the new microphone sounds fantastic, and it makes all the difference consuming the show audio only.
Hooray! Good. That was kind of what we were
going
hoping to do.
Yeah,
and
because we made some major shifts in the ComicPop empire.
We did, and Sal was very trusting of me buying a whole bunch of stuff.
You did, yeah. I'm writing it off for
the
next year. But like, by the way, write-off doesn't mean you get to keep the money. It's not like it's free. It's just that I don't have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
And
but
that's
like,
that's not the full price.
No, but I'm just like, thank you for
you've been spearheading a lot of major components of ComicPop 3.0 or whatever period we're on. But like ComicPop Returns, the microphones, the audio show. I was like, let's make Off the Rack a separate audio only show from Elseworlds. You can get Elseworlds on Spotify. You can get Off the Rack on Spotify.
Yep.
You also were integral into the branding.
Thanks.
I'm very pleased with the branding, the color scheme. I think that should be our color scheme, by the way.
Okay.
Orange and blue. I think that's ComicPop's colors now.
Nice.
Sad Althani back
hey.
from wherever. Thanks for being here, man. Welcome back to the show. It's always been a 6-issue mini for Hellions.
No,
or
for
Fallen
Angels, which is what I thought. I thought originally when it came out. I don't know if they made it super obvious on the label.
I didn't.
But like
it.
I remembered it being like it was going to be a mini.
Yeah. Danielle, some scratch in support of indies. Also, watch Tiffany play video games every Tuesdays and Wednesdays over on Twitch at twitch.tv/ComicPop.
I like that you had to write the slash because I know exactly what happened there. Well, thank you, Danielle.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're doing that tomorrow. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, make sure to watch those streams because they may be important in the next arm of ComicPop. Who knows?
And who knows? Tomorrow I might just be reading a book silently to myself. I gotta catch up on a couple of things. I'm not doing that.
No.
I won't do that to you.
Yeah. Brian T. Baller, wow, thanks for educating me. I didn't know there were artists who specialize in covers.
Yeah, there's an artist who does a lot of, I think she's done both sides, but I know she does oftentimes a lot of DC covers. Her name is Jenny Frison or Frizon.
I've always said Frizzon, but
yeah,
so I'm wrong.
I love her art, but like you see her do a lot of just covers.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. Like because of they brought it up. Spider-Man Spider Shadow #2 came out from Pascal Ferry and of course Chip Zdarsky. This continues the saga of what if Peter Parker had kept the alien costume?
What if that happened?
What if that happened? He'd become Venom, and he'd have a crazier outfit because it wouldn't be inspired by like whatever the hell that Eddie was inspired by.
Yeah.
Neat look. Of course, it's set in the 80s. It's like during that period when he would have gotten rid of it, but instead kept it. So obviously, Chip's like trying to balance this line of like, is it a Clintar? Is it a null thing? Like no one would know. How, like what would he's trying to think of it in a vacuum, but also focus on like what retcons have affected the character.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a great series, and it's haunting, it's frustrating, it's crazy. If you've ever wanted to see Spider-Man just like lose it and kill people, this is the series for you, ladies and gentlemen. So check that out, and but like it makes sense. And Jameson, of course, is like
you get to see Kraven be.
Yeah, it's weird because Kraven should no wait, Chip got me because I was like Kraven, he's dead, and then I'm like wait, no, he's not. Kraven's Last Hunt is 87. The symbiote's 84. You got me, Chip.
Yeah.
You bastard.
Yep.
So yes, so that's kind of cool. So I feel like Craven's gonna get his again. But yeah, there's a lot of like it's very self-indulgent in terms of like watch Peter Parker lose his fucking shit and kill people, but like it's what if, so I don't care. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, but talk about like this. I read this book too.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
This book. I know I gave it some tough marks last time on the art, and like there were moments in this where I definitely didn't
care for it.
Yeah, like the statue.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? Is that real? Is it a statue? Why is it there? What is the story?
The
with
reason
that?
I could tell it was a statue is I think those were like
weird eyes,
gem eyes. I was like, what is this? But then you get panel. I don't understand.
I will say, undisputedly, the art on the cover is extraordinary.
No, it is. But
that's
like,
Phil Noto.
But the interiors are like frustrating because I'm like, I go from like one page, I'm like, oh, to like, wait, what?
Yeah. When he dispatches Kingpin, it looks great. Like there's a lot of cool stuff in here that like looks great. And you're right, like it's kind of weird. It's a little weird.
It's a lot of times the color.
Yeah,
and we talked about that before.
And that's the issue. It's the biggest issue. I
just don't get it.
Yeah, but yeah, I still recommend it. Check it out.
Nice.
Also, I read Batman the Detective #2 from Tom Taylor and Andy Kubert.
Oh, I forgot about this book. I didn't read it.
No, you weren't a fan of the first one.
I wasn't a fan of the first one, so...
I was a fan of the first one, and I'm still a fan of this one.
Okay.
I like it a lot. It brings up Henry Duckard, or Ducard. It widens the mystery, and, you get to see... I had shades of Bond, because it's in England. There's a moment where Bruce Wayne's on a train, and he fights a guy on a train. And I'm like, hey!
Does he have some sort of mechanical arm or some sort of mechanical jaws?
No. But the art's spectacular, and the story is like it's funny because this is the first book I've read in a while where I thought like a writer, and it could be because we were writing something recently, but like I was like, I think Taylor's setting something up here. Like he's deliberately showing us characters and making us think of things, and I see where you're going with this, and I'm enjoying it. But it's fun. It's a good looking book, and it's just cool,
Yeah.
It's a cool book, and it's harmless. Does nothing. It's in the continuity. It's not in continuity. It doesn't matter. Nobody's complaining.
Right. It's almost like it's its own Legends of the Dark Knight.
Yes. A higher profile Legends of the Dark Knight, if you will. But excellent book. Read it if you are looking for a respite on Batman. For more Batman.
If you don't want that Batman, you should try this other Batman.
Damn right. Exactly.
I got Wonder Woman.
Oh, great.
Written by Becky Cloonan and Michael Conrad.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. With art by Travis Moore. It's just so good, people. It's just so much fun.
Yeah. Everyone's enjoying this Wonder Woman, I think.
Let me tell you something right now. It is so rare that like you get to like not only enjoy a story and like the art for the story, but like some of the lines, and like you read something that you've never read before. Like we read things all the time that we've never read before, but like something that just strikes you.
Yeah, that strikes you.
There's a moment like, remember last time Ratatasker tricked Nidhogg into consuming Wonder Woman in the egg that he wanted, and said that she had died. She's in the egg so she can get the key that's the Valkyries to the Valkyrie Hall that's hidden within him. So she like busts out and is inside of him and like is talking to him while she's in there. And there's like dead bodies in there, and it's like green and all that. And then like he mentions something about how like he's gonna essentially release gases into his tummy that will like consume her, right?
Naturally.
And she doubles over, and then we get this line that just says, "Your precious Valkyries won't dare venture into my lair. So in my cathedral of flesh, you shall remain withering and fading." And I was just like,
that's awesome. That's a
like,
solid,
I
great
got
line.
to read the line in the cathedral of flesh. I was like, yeah.
Tell me more.
Please go on.
Yeah, that's great.
Needless to say, she ends up getting the key thanks to her mysterious companion, who she'll see as she's like dying or passing through in order to save her. Like some shadowy figure will show up and like give her a hard time about like not staying in Asgard and like leaving.
Yes.
Or Valhalla.
Yeah.
And like getting out of there and like got to get back.
Yep.
Gives her the key. Snake ends up heaving. She comes out with it. She leaves with the key. He's like,
damn it.
You suck. You lied. Rattasker's like, technically I didn't say what was in the egg.
Right.
You didn't tell me what I could put in the egg. You just asked for the egg.
Yeah.
that's kind of your fault.
Right.
Needless to say, Siegfried's like, just let it go. You're not gonna be able to save me. I'm a ghost. Don't risk yourself over me.
Mm-hmm.
She runs into Thor. Odin shows back up. A big rock kills Odin. Because Odin gives Thor a really hard time. He's like, seriously, look around you. You know something's going on. You're not even trying to stop it.
Right.
Oh, you got magic weapons? That's how far down you've stooped? You need, like, You didn't even check them out. They're cursed. You idiot. And then he gets hit with a rock. And then they all fight. As she's fighting, like, Odin calls her Wonder Woman before he dies. And, like, that name, like...
Gives her pause.
Gives her pause and lets her
if you're not paying
fly.
attention to this book,
yeah,
she doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember who she is. And allows her to take flight.
Oh, that's cool.
And Thor's like, well, you can fly? And she's like, yeah, let's do this. This got like a fire in her belly, right? And they fight like the Sea King, who's like riding on a crab. And she's like, as we fight him, the name Arthur repeats over and over and over again in my head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. It's funny. This book puts into continuity, at least for me, that like whoever this Arthur guy is was like super handsome, and he was almost so handsome that like it almost made you forget that he smelled like a tide pool. And I was like, yeah, Aquaman does smell bad.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Classic.
No way he did it. But we finally are revealed as to who the mysterious individual is. And like, by the way, by the second time you see him in this book, this mysterious figure, you've already started piecing it together, I bet.
Right.
As to who it is, based on the tone and the words that were used and selected by the individual. It's Dead Man.
Yay! What?
Boston shows up and he's like, I was tasked with watching you and like trying to like guide you, but like it all got wonky and messed up. But anyway, I'm not supposed to step in.
I'm not supposed to literally be here and just tell you what to do.
But I'm doing this and I'm bringing you back, and like you have to go to Olympus. It's a shit show. She's like, but I gave them my word that.
But I'm doing a cool thing here. Nobody wants this to end.
He's like, you can't stop Ragnarok. She's like, I may not be able to stop it, but I could like prevent it for a bit.
Right.
And so like that's what I'm gonna do. And he's like, all right, fine.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump into you and then I'm gonna take you home.
No, he doesn't. He leaves. And then Wonder Woman wanders off and with Ratatasker as like they're on the way that Siegfried told them to go after like he sacrifices himself, which makes her all pissed off. Mm-hmm. She's like, I'm doing this for you, man. What the hell? But also because I made a bond with this squirrel here, so I got to do that.
Right.
When she runs into like an evil iteration of herself.
Oh no.
Who's like, the idea is that's like, look, this is what happens. Like, you know, you're dead, and like if you embrace it, you become like this like god being here of like war and death.
Oh.
Isn't that cool? And it is pretty dope looking. Like she's just a fun design. In fact, initially I thought her cape was made out of her own hair, and it's not. It's just a hair. And
it looks like feathers or something. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but like I literally was like, whoa, hair cape.
That would have been pretty cool.
No, it's just cape and hair.
That's fine.
Yeah. No, I mean hair cape's way creepier and worse. At least to me.
Yeah.
But inevitably, like the evil or like the god war death version of
evil Diana,
yeah, is like, check out all the people you killed here. The Draugr, which we've seen if you've played God of War, you've run into Draugr before. And she's like, I thought the Valkyrie came with her. She's like, nah, you just killed them. Anyway, she like they fight for a second, and like inevitably she knocks Dr. Psycho out of her.
Oh.
Psycho's like, you suck.
Damn it.
Yeah, basically. He's just like, you, all right, don't, if you stick to this path, you're going to screw up everything.
Right.
So she's like, well, then naturally I'm going to stick to the path.
Right.
Because I hate him.
Yeah.
Stick to the path. They come across a ferryman.
Mm-hmm.
The ferryman will ferry them across this body of water to where the Valkyrie are, and the ferryman turns out to be Odin.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I always come back, and sometimes I'm a ferryman, so here I am.
Sure.
Hey, what's up? And so off they go onto the next leg of their journey. It's just so much fun. She's literally
it's a cool odyssey for what Diana.
It is a great odyssey. And it's so funny to speak so highly of a Wonder Woman book that like literally has taken her, put her into a completely different mythology, and like it just seems to capture the essence of Wonder Woman. Even though she has no memories, like we're doing that like trope where it's like, oh, she has no memories. Oh, how do we get it back? At least there's like a solid reason for it. But like, she's a warrior in a warrior's land, conquering death and like coming back and like having that like honor and, not only to her people, like the idea she has to go back to Olympus, but honor to these people she just met and she gave her word to. She's like, I got to go for that. I got to do that. Nothing's going to stop me kind of thing.
Right.
I love it.
Sweet.
Solid.
Nice.
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I can't believe you didn't read the Joker because I almost don't want to talk about it.
I know, I forgot to read it.
Because seriously, like I really want to know your reaction to this book.
Well, just recommend it then.
I do recommend this. This, by the end of it, the second half of this book went a way I wasn't anticipating, and I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it. But the first half of this book does a really solid job of making sure that, like, listen. The Killing Joke is 100% continuity.
Right.
It happened. It happened. And I'm like, we've all talked about that, but like the whole thing, the naked Jim, not just the shooting of Barbara.
Right, but all the stuff that happened, yeah.
It all happened.
That's the,
Which I know, but
well,
like...
I think everything happened, but yeah.
But like we
talking
see
about
him
it.
again. Like they recreate part of it of like him being like naked and being dragged through like the fairgrounds and like how that felt and like, the idea of like, what a Joker want is, you want you to go insane essentially.
Right, yeah.
Like, so... just that drives Jim.
Yeah.
And so we get a little more of that. We get the fact that like Barbara is in his ear the entire time. We do get this really great series of pages of Jim detecting and like knowing how to find the wealthy and the rich. He's like, it's just so smart and it's so Jim for me. I'm like, yep, because Jim's like a man of the people to me. And like he totally utilizes those types of skills to achieve his goal.
Nice.
And then something happens.
Oh. Well, I'm color me intrigued. I'm excited. Yeah. Jumping into the super chats really quick.
Yeah.
I think we're at Brian, so let me make sure. Yes. Brian T. Baller, one thing I wish comics would do is say if something is in continuity on the cover. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, I think that like there's a way to do that. It's probably like put like the label it, like how right now if it's Infinite Frontier, there's a little Infinite Frontier logo.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the way to go. Like DC Universe or like DC Prime or like DC Elseworlds. Like that, there's an easy way to do that and have like a theme or a scheme to it.
Right, but I feel like they don't want to.
They don't want to do that.
They don't want to do that because then they have to commit to it, and if something doesn't work out, then it's like, oh, now we have to be creative to figure out how to make this thing not have.
But
happened.
you're already doing that.
Right, but I think they'd rather have the opportunity to be like, oh, remember that thing that everybody liked that we weren't sure was in continuity?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely is in continuity.
We'll just change it. You know what I mean? Like just when it in reprints, change the logo.
That would be more infuriating, I think, to people.
Yeah, I think you're right. Dan V900, I'm just curious if either of you seen the Castlevania TV show. I feel like that's up Tiffany's alley. Last season just dropped on Thursday.
I watched the first season. Well, I watched it with Sal, and I wasn't sure if Sal was interested anymore, but I don't think he is, so I may just have to catch
one way
up.
or another. Like, it was fun. We watched it.
Yeah.
I dug it.
I'm like,
enough.
I think this is the third season or the fourth season. I'm seasons behind.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We watched the first, so I have no idea.
Yes.
But yeah. No, it's, it's a well-made show.
Mm-hmm.
And KT8 3976. Last week, the Fantastic Four went full General Hospital, and I enjoyed and laughed. I've heard good things. I checked it out a little bit, but I've heard good things. I hope it's making people happy. I hear people are frustrated, but also enjoying it. It's one way or another. It depends on like whether you like Dan Slott or not at this point, really. So
I think that's true. I mean, I feel so. I don't know which way to go with him because it's like we've mentioned this before, but I know that like Dan has a love for comics.
Yes.
But like Dan doesn't always play well with others, and I think that's kind of an issue. The Franklin Richards thing, of course, in terms of like X-Men storytelling, I think was kind of like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah. Justice League Last Ride from...
I was going to read this, and I was like, I went and read The Joker instead.
Okay, I'm glad you did. I thought you read it, because it looked like it was done, but it's by Chip Zdarsky with art by Miguel Mendoza. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But it's an Elseworld story. It's a out of continuity story that's taking place clearly like in the post-crisis DC continuity. Maybe Rebirth, but I would go with post-crisis. The idea is Batman and they say the Trinity is broken up. I think that was what the original solicits were, but basically it's Batman and Superman are not friends, and the Justice League breaks up, and then they get a call and they need to get back together, and basically because there's no Justice League, things got messed up. Go ahead.
Oh no, I just love the idea that like the Justice League is like, okay, here's the thing. They're not friends anymore. I'm not dealing with that. I'd rather just break up than have to choose sides.
That's basically it.
Like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like the Flash is like, ugh. Like when they, they have to come back, they're recalled, they go to the fortress or whatever, like, the Watchtower. Barry's obviously there, and like Batman and Superman immediately start arguing, and Flash is like, I will do anything to get away from you two, like complaining. And the idea is that the Green Lantern Corps has captured Lobo, because Lobo is wanted. He murdered the New Gods, and they have this theory that like the fifth world will be humanity, and they want to use this as an opportunity to make.
Yeah, that was in the Green Lantern book.
Yeah, well, we're doing that here too.
That's what the Owens tell the Green Lanterns. Is that like one day the New Gods will die, and
right,
and Earth will become the fifth world.
Well, we're doing that now. In this alternate reality.
What?
So, yeah. They want the Justice League to figure out like how to keep Lobo alive until they don't need him anymore. And so, Batman is the only one who can figure it out. Batman tells them all to go to hell. Superman shows up and he's like, Come on. I'm not the reason Jean died, you are. And Batman's like, okay, we're gonna have to go to Apocalypse. And it's like, oh, it's a fun little story that that could have happened at any point, at any time in a Justice League story, but John's dead.
Of course, Batman's somehow the reason for that.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't Jon Stewart's fault.
No. No. Batman and Superman wouldn't stop being friends because of Jon Stewart.
I know.
But yeah, I recommend it if you're looking for like an out of continuity, Justice League story, but like whatever, it's fun. It's a cool little story. And of course, Heroes Reborn, #2, from Jason Aaron and Dale Keown.
I skimmed this to see the thing at the near the end that I was like, okay.
Yeah. This is continuing to go. It's a book that is happening. I'm impressed that it's happening so quickly.
Like I said, I feel like they're trying to not have Hellfire Gala and this happening at the same time.
Yes.
Maybe.
More or less, this is just like greatest hits. Like, let's explain what the universe is like, and like, if you've had any specific questions about what would happen if the Justice League were like dumb and also replace the Avengers, then here it is. Obviously, everyone's talking about how Hyperion just when Galactus came, Hyperion just assassinated him. And that's not something you can do to Galactus, but no one, it's a cool picture, and that's what this book is about.
Right. I mean, the fact is, it's for some reason, this specific image, all that makes me think of is the Sentry.
Yeah, of course. And it's that's more interesting.
Kind of. I mean, I think some people like Hyperion in terms of a
Superman analog type
analog
character,
or commentary on it. It's funny. Simultaneously, of course, is tearing down why this type of hero doesn't necessarily work in the Marvel universe,
right,
while also showing you what makes Superman so special in his own. It's it's neat in that element.
Yeah. Except he's he's clearly brainwashed, and he's he's a jingoist. Where he's like, it's for America, and he's doggedly devoted to his nation. He's got too much patriotism.
Yeah, no, I love this image of the Hulk.
Yeah, I kind of liked it too. The Hulk is
I really love it.
The Hulk breaks into the Hyperion's secret identity job, and he's basically treated like Bizarro because he's altered, so he's talking backwards, and and like the Hulk, and then Aaron doesn't want to do that anymore, so he doesn't, and Hyperion basically just kills the Hulk, and people are like, that he couldn't do that either, but he does.
Well, maybe okay, so obviously the Hulk in this recognizes the fact that something's wrong with the world. He's looking for the Avengers. He's looking for Steve Rogers. And I believe he was in the negative zone.
Yeah. He freed himself because the idea is that they created a
so
negative zone prison.
Maybe everyone there is people who know the truth.
It could be
about the universe. So I'm wondering if it's less about something happened to the Avengers and more this is a place to keep Hyperion.
Right. Well, Hyperion stays in the sun most of the time to recharge.
I don't know.
Anyway, so Captain America pretends to be a homeless person, meets Hyperion to size up his enemy, and Blade's like, yeah, are we ready to do this? And Steve's like, yeah, and that's the book.
I love that Steve is wearing a hoodie and it's just open.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes.
Well, that way you know who it is.
I know, but that's not hiding.
Otherwise, you'll think it's Thor.
Yeah.
Which is exactly who I thought it was in the beginning. So yeah, this is a waste of money. Don't waste your time. you can just skip this or pick it up in a trade.
But if you are digging it, then like it's more of the same, and
Yeah.
so like you might continue to dig it. And again, like
This is true. Well, no, this is not like the last one because this is more about more re-explaining what this world is, and there's 2 pages of story.
right. But I mean, it also establishes the fact that like there are other characters who do remember,
Yeah.
and like shows that like they are
Or
getting
kind of remember. Hopefully
Yeah.
sort of remembers.
But they're also not making it necessary, I think. I don't know. Obviously, we didn't read. There's a Hyperion tie-in, correct?
Yeah, I didn't read it either.
But like this gives you a little more background about that. So if you didn't read it, maybe it puts you in a better position as well.
Yeah, that could be.
I
But
know there are people who are enjoying it, and so it's like, look, like right now there seems to be a lot of focus on X-Men, and so it again.
Right.
There's something out there that isn't X.
Yes. So if
driven
you are
right
like
now.
tired of X-Men, again, I wouldn't bother with this. There's plenty of other Marvel books.
Although I do understand that in what I guess it was the Hyperion tie-in, like there's a
reference to the X-Men.
there's a Cyclops backup.
Yeah.
In which he's the happiest he's ever been.
Yep. Except now, which he still is.
Except when he's on the moon having a 3-way.
Mm-hmm. With Wolverine. Neil and Bradley says,
that's the true romance there.
Yeah.
Jean's the one getting in the way.
Mm-hmm. As always. Neil and Bradley says, bought volume 1 of Stillwater, and we only find them when they're dead.
Nice.
Oh my God, that's such a long title based on your recommendations. Nice.
Excellent. That's great. Yes, we
Yeah.
only find them when they're dead.
Yep. Thank you, Neelan, for your support and for your kindness.
Thank you.
Yeah, that we only find them when they're dead. The last house of the town on the lake with the place and the guy, written by James Tynion IV. Where there's also
I'm looking forward to
Something's
that
Killing
book,
the Children.
by the way, quite a bit. I am honestly looking forward.
The place with the thing and the stuff. The extremely long title that it will be made into a TV series is one of my favorites from Boom Studios, and of course, the independent comic book that everyone's reading. They all have long titles that are sentences. Denville 900 says,
I'm sorry, all of my long sentenced independent books are more consistently put out and of quality than your web swinging friend.
Yeah, it's too bad that like nobody respects him in Marvel. Danvy 900 says, I would recommend Time Before Time #1. It's like Looper. I didn't buy into Heroes Reborn Peter Parker one shot. Why wouldn't he just be Spider-Man? Yeah, because they don't want Spider-Man in the book. That's why. That's why they did it. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll have to find out why the Heroes Reborn universe exists. Maybe there's some...
Nah, I don't really care. It's just an extension of Aaron's run on the Avengers, which is way too long. He needs to stop. I like Aaron. And
I do too. That's why I'm like...
And it's just awful. And it's just like, it's just unequivocally awful.
Just
Like
go-
every time I read it, I'm like, ugh.
Just go write King Conan.
Yeah, go write King Conan. Do another one on Thor or something. Like, stick to what you're good at. Stay away from the Avengers. You're just awful at it. Just awful. Just awful. Anyway, and that's it. Is there anything else you're reading?
No.
Well, there you have it, everybody. We want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. We also, of course, wanted to mention that, we can't do this without you. And so if you are watching this show, make sure to subscribe to ComicPop Returns because that's where the show is probably going to live from now on. We, of course, have recommendations for books that are coming out that we think you should pick up, and I'm very excited to be talking about them in a minute. But I also just wanted to say, before the end of the show, because the show is not over, that we are going to be kind of migrating the show over there. So if you aren't already, make sure to subscribe. And if you're looking for a link, there's one in the that's one pinned in the chat. If you're watching this after the fact, hey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for subscribing to ComicPop Returns, which is just where Comic Pop's podcasts need to be because YouTube, is a friendly place for for creators. They certainly, that's actually like a thing in their surveys where they're like, I think YouTube is a great place for creators, and it's like 1 no. Like 1 hard disagree, 10 full send, and it's like, yep.
Does it actually say full send?
No.
Oh.
No, it doesn't.
Oh.
But yeah. So we're gonna recommend some books.
Yeah.
Somebody asked when we're gonna.
Are you waiting for me? I'm ready. I'm
Okay,
ready
great.
to recommend books. Wolverine #12 is coming out.
I know.
I'm gonna check this out. It's Wolverine and Dracula. Why not?
Dracula has a really strong connection with the X-Men. I get it.
No, he does.
Mhm.
He absolutely does.
I know.
And it's Dracula. I like when Dracula shows up because he's either ridiculous or maybe kind of scary. I don't know. Speaking of We Only Find Them When They're Dead, #6 is coming out, so you could check that out from Al Ewing. Wonder Girl #1 is coming out.
Finally.
Written and drawn by Joelle Jones.
Yeah.
She guessed, so I'm definitely picking that up. Looking forward to it. I don't know if there's a backup in it, but this one says it's about 32 pages.
I don't see a little thing in it.
I don't see a little thing either, but it's 32 pages, $4.
Fuck yeah.
Yes, thank you. I also want to give it a shout out to Way of the X #2.
Yep.
Written by Simon Spurrier. Yeah, this is the like Nightcrawler
Religion
dealing with
Odyssey
religion
story.
and like just kind of having his own existential crisis.
Existential crisis.
Existential.
That's what they should call this.
Yes, that'll be the omnibus.
Yes, is the existential crisis edition.
Yep. And they're saying one of the most dangerous mutants is reborn, but
Yeah,
we knew
know
that
who
already.
was, yeah.
So we'll be checking that out for sure. And I want to give a shout out to that Shang-Chi, of course, is getting a book because Shang-Chi's getting a movie. Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe Part 1 is coming out. So if you're like, hey, I want to pick up something with Shang-Chi, maybe you don't want to go back and read some older stuff, there's something coming out right now. You'll be able to go check that out by Jean Luen Yang.
Yep.
I hope I didn't say that incorrectly. And there it'll be.
Yeah.
We'll check it out. I don't know how many parts it is.
Shang-Chi versus the Marvel Universe. My guess is it'll be a couple.
Yeah. It doesn't say. There's nothing here that mentions it, but hey, whatever. Oh, also Black Knight, Curse of the Ebony Blade #3 is coming out. Also by
Another
Cy
Cy
Spurrier.
Spurrier book.
Yeah, can't
Yep.
help myself. Right, that was old.
Mm-hmm. Amazing Spider-Man 66 is coming out. We'll see how it holds up. Spencer and Bagley.
Nice.
Nightwing #80 is coming out. Nightwing's a great series. I didn't get a chance to talk about issue 2, and I'll talk about issue 3 the next time.
No, we did talk about it too.
Did we?
Yeah, it was the one with the pizza.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yay. Just League 61, this will be my make it or break it for the series. The second issue was not great, so we'll see how this goes. There's, of course, Bendis and, Zermanico is doing the art with a...
No. Is it? Is it Germanico the whole way through?
I don't know.
Because Germanico does the Ram V,
Well, they're only listing Zermanico as the artist.
Oh, interesting. Oh, it looks like it says Marquez.
Okay, there you go. David Marquez was drawing it before, so that makes sense.
Yeah. They're just this site is
not listing that artist.
not the listing that. Well, he's down there, but he's like as a cover
there you
artist. But yes, it's Marquez for that, and Ram V and Zermanico are doing the Justice League Dark backup.
Yes, because if you want to read Justice League Dark, you're probably going to read the Bendis Justice League book.
Mm-hmm.
Not. But it is there if you ever want to read Justice League Dark again. Zdarsky and Hawthorne are doing Daredevil #30. This is a great series, and I can't sing enough of its praises. It's a good book. But again, it's Daredevil. It's not Cicchetto. It's Hawthorne.
Cicchetto's on there too. Cicchetto.
He did he's the artist and cover artist.
They're both on there.
Yeah, that makes sense. There's some.
Well, it says he's the penciler, so I wonder if
Cicchetto came in, did finishes or something like
yeah,
that.
like maybe Cicchetto didn't have enough time, so like they let him lay them out, and then Cicchetto just
That's fair.
did the rest of it.
Yeah, but anyway, it's a great book regardless. Also, Heroes Reborn #3 is coming out. I'm going to continue to read it because it's, what's happening in the Marvel Universe, and I'll admit I'm a little intrigued about, like, how Coulson manipulated the Squadron Supreme into taking over the world.
It because Coulson really came up for me, of course, through the MCU and through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yep.
It kills me what they've done to this character in comics themselves.
Yep, they didn't know what to do with him anymore, so they were like, let's make him an Abaxal Lord.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, did you like Life Story? Because Marvel's hoping you did, with Fantastic Four Life Story written by Mark Russell with art by Sean Izaakse. There you have it. But yeah, it's another. If you remember Spider-Man Life Story, each issue was a decade. This is, I assume, the same premise by a different creator. And I think this is what kind of inspired Zdarsky. I can just create an idea, throw it out there, and they'll make it. And that's what they did with What If, or that's what they're gonna do. Mm-hmm. And here's the Life Story.
Right, and this is also going to tie into the Fantastic Four 60th anniversary as well, which is fun because they're kicking it off with the 60s.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that I saw this cover and I was like, and clearly there's something about Moon Knight in here, and I'm like, no, it's just
a moon or something.
Shape.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's just a shape that they put on.
Yeah, it's a kind of a weird decision.
Just made me immediately think of Moon Knight.
But
can't help it.
Yeah. Outside of that. Adam says, I hear a lot of people pronouncing it Shang-Chi, or it sounds like that. Anyone know what's correct with the movie coming out? The actor who's playing him says it's Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Just like when they made the live-action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie, it was Ong and not Aang.
Well,
in fact,
it could be in terms of that. I'll say that's an interesting one because it's obviously the creators of it had their idea of what it was, but maybe if you were using that word from its like derivation in
Yeah.
terms of like, you know, different language, it would be the other thing.
Right.
That one's a little more difficult in terms of this. I think that's probably a little more clear cut that we can just go with whatever they're going to say.
Yeah. Trenton Rogers, thanks for the years of content. You are all the big reason why I got back into comics. Keep being awesome. You too, Trenton. Thank you very much for your incredible support, for your very strong
Yeah.
generosity, and for being here and for watching
Thank
for
you,
multiple
thank
years.
you.
That's friggin' dope. When did Coulson become evil? When Deadpool killed him.
That'll do it for you.
That'll do it.
I mean, you just feel insulted, I guess.
I know. It's just, it was a weird decision. Yeah, another like weird Secret Empire thing where they were like, we screwed that up too. JLI Wheels, been a fan since TV Little House back issues, got me into comics, back into comics from the UK.
Well, thank you.
Thanks, JLI Wheels. Really appreciate it, man. And I love when I see like the old. I'm so glad we're past TV Little House, but I like seeing it sometimes. It's like, oh, you've been watching for a while.
Thank you.
Adam X or Adam X, because he says he's talking about X-Men. Remind me of Adam X the Extreme.
Yeah.
Adam, any theory as to why Professor X's face is always hidden? Writers often use masks to show they are hiding something, etc. He seems borderline supervillain.
We've talked about that a lot for sure.
They have shown his face.
They have shown his face before. He just, I will say it's probably a lot easier to draw it. To figure out
doubt.
what he's doing with that
Well,
face.
especially because they're like totally not drawing Professor X anymore. Like since he like clearly fixed himself, like he cocooned himself or whatever. He's like, I'm thin and buff, and I got this crazy helmet. Like they're just drawing any like stock man figure in comics. They don't care.
I'm sure it will play into something. And like I recently had been considering, not theories, but like just some interesting little things in terms of like helmets in general that we've seen as of late.
Yeah,
more about that later.
that's true. They showed his face when they blew it off in X-Force.
Yeah, no, they did. When they blew it off.
But yeah, so that's it. Make sure to subscribe to ComicPop Returns for more, because of course, like that's where this show is gonna be.
Yes.
I guess. And then we're gonna really see like what happens, because as we roll ever forward to 100K on this main channel, there's some theories about like what YouTube does. We're eligible for verification. We could be locked into a new bracket. YouTube, of course, doesn't want to ever go on record and say what things are because of, like you said, with respect to the, they don't want to like determine what's in universe because they don't want to be held accountable for it later. YouTube is the same thing, where they don't want to say what's a rule and what isn't, because otherwise they're held accountable for it, or at the very least they could be in the social sphere. So, but there's some like unofficial theories about what's going to happen. So, thank you for being here, for subscribing to ComicPop. Thank you for checking out that new channel, and we'll see if like maybe moving those things over there also allows this channel to flourish and grow.
Yeah.
Because we're still cultivating gardens, ladies and gentlemen. We're still trying it up. So, yeah. Otherwise, we will see you next week with another episode of Off the Rack over on the other show.
That's right.
Or on the other channel.
Give it a shot.
So we're excited for that. Of course, if you want more, you can't handle it, go to twitch.tv/ComicPop. Watch Tiffany play video games Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And yeah, this episode will be live on ComicPop Returns tomorrow. Which is to say Tuesday. So if you're watching this on ComicPop Returns, it'll be live right now. You're watching it right now.
Yeah.
And thanks for staying to the end.
Yeah. Hi. We're here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I guess that's it.
That's all we got.
Yeah. Thanks, Black Phoenix, for subscribing right now.
Yay! Thank you.
Yeah, and thanks everybody else for watching. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time with another episode of Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So long.
Bye.